The old phrase goes, never let a good crisis go to waste. And what we see going on with Israel and the Arab conflict is something that the entire world is paying attention to, whether secular or Christian. And there's good reason for that because it is a very, very important event that is happening right now that could lead into some seriously important prophetic events, which we understand will come to pass because the Bible is always correct and their prophecies will come to pass. But while all of that is going on and the world is watching it, which is very important, there's a lot of things that they're sliding in underneath the radar that nobody is now paying attention to like they were before. And that includes bringing in a new biometric travel system. Hey, what's going on? This is Zach, the Wretched Watchman. I'm bringing you just a tad bit more news on a biometric travel system that has just come into play here. It's not active yet, but has been passed and it's getting ready to go active. And these things tend to get slid in underneath the chaos that is going on around the world. And as we know with the Israel and Hamas event, all eyes are going on over there. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what I am saying is we still need to keep tabs on some of the things going on underneath that chaos that, of course, these big heads like to use as a distraction to get these things done. Remember, whenever the right hand is doing something extravagant, always watch the left. And so we are watching the left hand with this news update coming from the Hedge Zero Hedge. And it says, tongue. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. That's the best you're going to get from me. U.S. travel to Europe will require prior approval and biometric scanning. So biometrics is something that shouldn't come as a surprise. We've talked about it a ton on this channel, and there's a ton more happening globally. It doesn't matter if it's in some small country or one of the biggest countries in the world. They're introducing biometric on just absurd levels, whether it's banking, ID, travel, job, streets. It doesn't matter. They're bringing this everywhere. Now we're doing this. So what does this say here? Traveling to most European countries is about to get more complicated and invasive for American citizens. Yeah, well, more invasive, really? Man, not surprised there. Spring 2025, so not too far off, honestly. You'll have to first request permission if you plan on heading over to European countries. And you'll be saying adieu to passport stamps and shall to facial and fingerprint scans. They're just adding this stuff up everywhere, aren't they? And having your biometric data stored in an enormous government database. So something that we've always talked about when it comes to biometrics and all this stuff is first, they're going to get you with the convenience factor, which they're already doing now in airports. If you want to skip a lot of the security, if you want to skip physical stuff, even now the phone scan stuff's all going out of date. You just scan your eyeball or you scan your fingerprint, and you can just walk right in and go and get what you got to get done, travel to where you need to go. They're adding this stuff all over the place. They're replacing passwords, passports, tickets, everything with this biometric stuff, all in the name of convenience, safety, and just everything to be faster. And that's something I've always talked about all the time is they're going to kill you with convenience until it's no longer going to be an option and it's going to be forced upon you. Well, say hello to forcing it upon you. First, it was convenient. Now it's forcing it upon you. And they're talking about a giant global database. We've talked about this too. Everybody's got a digital profile, a digital twin, where basically that thing knows more about you than you know about yourself. It's got everything from when you were born to whatever numbers are attached to your name, to your DNA, to where you work, to your patterns of life, how you move, how you talk, how your heart beats, and everything in between. It's got all that stuff and it continues to collect more and more data. And so they're just going to attach this to your digital profile. That should come as no surprise to anybody who's watched my channel for any length of time. I've talked about this digital twin stuff for a very, very long time, and it's just going to continue to grow from here. Now, on Friday, an agency of the European Union announced the updated timing for the European Travel Information and Authorization System. ETIAS. ETIAS. We'll say ETIAS. How about that? We'll go with that. Everybody approve. Motion denied. We're going with it. ETIAS. Which has first set to roll out in 2024. It applies to travelers from more than 60 countries that are currently exempt from visa requirements. Those countries have an aggregate population of 1.4 billion. That is quite the number there. As is the case today, Americans won't need a visa, but they will need to apply in advance for permission, because everything requires permission from Big Daddy government. To visit any of the 30 EU countries for stays lasting up to 90 days, it will cost about $8 to apply. What is up with $8? $8 to apply for this, $8 to get on Twitter. It's just $8. Very interesting. With requests submitted via the official ETIAS, and I forgot what I approved there. ETIAS website, we'll go with that, or ETIAS mobile app. With activation of the process more than a year away, neither is yet configured to collect applications. So they're not taking applications yet, but they will soon. ETS assures the public that most applications will be processed in minutes. Now, what are these countries that are requiring this? Yeah, oh man, we got Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. That's a lot there. I'm sure there's going to be more countries that get added to this, since we are still about 2 years away from this thing. So definitely something to keep tabs on. Now, if we keep going, I don't want to read the whole article. I'm just picking out a few things that I think are of importance. It says this approval will be tied to your passport and will be valid for up to 3 years or until your passport expires, whichever comes earlier. Once you have it, you'll be able to visit as much as you want, so long as it's a short-term stay. They want everybody. Hold on. Short-term stay, which generally means up to 90 days in a 180-day period. So we'll get to the rest of this in a second. I want to point this out. As long as it's a quote-unquote short-term stay. Now, 90 days seems like pretty good time. That's, it's 3 months. But when we look at it in the aspect of they are trying to slowly, because they like to do these things slow crawl, because it kind of keeps everybody just kind of moseying with it. They may not like it, but they tend to move with it rather than an extreme thing right off the bat. They're trying to slowly corral people to stay in certain areas. They don't want people to move around and stay abroad for an extended period of time, because they want to keep people in their country cages. And so 90 days, again, may seem pretty good, but watch for it to go down. Watch for it to slowly constrict until the point where you're not going to be able to travel at all, and you're going to have to stay in your area. Now, that's something to definitely pay attention to. That's something that I see from this. So that's just my perspective on what I see of what they're trying to accomplish. ETS recommends applying for permission well in advance of your trip, but doesn't specify what that means. The agency does caution that the approval period could be extended by up to 14 days if you are requested to provide additional information or documentation, or up to 30 days if you are invited to an interview. That is frightening. Come sit in a very cold room with a spotlight on your face so we can interrogate you about what you're doing. Very interesting. Those who enter may not be seen again. There's no indication where such interviews would be conducted or by whom. Yeah, that's comforting for sure. Participating countries will no longer give passport stamps by that some travelers collect with pride, in a move that's causing electronic privacy advocates to sound the alarm. Yeah, 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 I'm sure. You'll have to submit to both fingerprint and face scans, get your whole biometric data in that. With the information then stored in a European Commission's Common Identity Repository, CIR, which is fed by multiple systems, including police agencies. They want you in their databases. They want to keep tabs on you at all times. They want to keep track of, they want to corral you, restrict the time that you can move around the world freely to the point of eventually they're going to know everything about you and you're going to be stuck in a small little room or a district or a town, however they choose to restrict people accordingly. This is just a way of taking more and more freedoms away from people. It's our God given right to travel freely if we want to. And they're going to try and restrict in any way possible. And they're going to make sure they can keep tabs on you at all times. This, of course, isn't just another system, another program that's coming eventually, that's going to get worse, that they're just sliding in underneath the chaos of the crisis that we see happening between Israel and the Arabs. So definitely something to remember in these times. Yes, we keep our eyes on Israel. It is God's timepiece. And everything after the rapture, Daniel's 70th week, is for them to return to the true Messiah. So obviously we watch Israel, but at the same time, we can't get tunnel vision on just one event, and we got to pay attention to some of the other things happening because those also point to prophetic signs as well. So just another reminder. And yeah, if you plan on getting some traveling done, get it done before 2025 because looks like the hammer's coming down. So, all right, guys, just remember with all this stuff going on, we got to keep focus. God gives us the wonderful command of warning people of what is coming and getting people to Jesus. Share the gospel of Jesus Christ with as many people as you can before the rapture. And that is the season, guys. So keep your eyes on the sky. Our Lord's going to come and get us soon. So, all right, I'll leave you guys here. Peace out and Maranatha.